What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Do you feel that your campaign has been taken seriously so far?
Oh, yes. Trust me. Why you're here?
Aside from the fact that we're here today.
Listen, it's 40 years.
It gives you that impression.
I've been in politics for 40 years. You know, I've been doing almost 13 elections, 2 leadership. What you see is what you get. That's it. If we want to win the next election, it's not the same as the last one because we lost badly. I'm the one who can connect with people. Life is about a pile of rock. You have to decide if you want to have a bridge or build a wall. I'm a bridge builder.
That's what he says. That was Denis Coderre talking to reporters. James Mennie from the Montreal Gazette joins us. James, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure.
James, I got to say, first and foremost, that I've interviewed Denis Coderre for so many years, and just that exchange that he had with that reporter, he is known for years to have that sort of brash and abrasive response to reporters. Do you see this as a softening of an image? Do you see him as trying to really pivot and do something new as he announces his leadership bid? How do you see this?
Well, I see this as right now we're talking about his tax problems, which aren't really away. He's launched he sent a mise en demeure, a cease and desist to Revenue Quebec concerning how they handled his file, about the money he owed them. He says it's not his fault that he had a stroke and was going through a divorce, that he wound up, I think, owing them a couple of $100,000. But the fact is, I still haven't heard from the Quebec Liberal Party. I don't know. They had made it clear that they wanted his issues to be settled. If they are settled, fine. But even if they are, it's not a great way to start your campaign. It's not a great way to go into it by saying, well, yes, I'm still sort of like tangled up with this. And quite frankly, you have to point out that this is an uphill fight for Denis Coderre in terms of how can I put it, political
resurrection.
No, political gravitas.
Yes.
He's got no support in the caucus. He's got no support, as far as I can tell, from any sort of like big voice. And yeah, everyone likes the underdog. Everyone likes the guy who fights the big fight. But it's 2025, and there is a lot at stake for Quebecers in this coming election. And if you support the Liberal Party, I'm not sure the same sort of like 20th century bromides, the same mottos about I don't build walls, I build bridges, and so on. And now, sort of like out of the blue, I'll rescind Bill 96. There's a certain, how can I put it? It seems a bit disorganized. It seems kind of stream of consciousness. Maybe he's still got to get himself back on his feet. I know he's had a rough patch there for a couple of years. I'm not really sure what the level of organization of his campaign is, Joanne. But I have to tell you, right now, I think it would have been a lot better to launch with a very clearly defined program on why you should vote for, as a Liberal, you should vote for Denis Coderre as your leader, as opposed to having to answer questions about his tax issues. I'm very, very sorry, but it's there. It's not going away, and I think we've only just started to talk about it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, and once again, we'll see what the party establishment has to say. But right now, I think Denis Coderre has got a pretty tall order to deal with, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
and it's always interesting because as you look at the many different versions of Denis Coderre that we've gotten over the years, it's you have to wonder what are the intentions, because as you said, he came on there and the platform was sort of wishy-washy, right? That cliche. So what does Denis Coderre actually want, and what does he propose, and how he plans to move forward? That is the big question, and especially now with all of this talk about the taxes and the potential lawsuits. The waters are murky already to start. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Let's talk federal now. Chrystia Freeland right now is the first and so far the only woman in the Liberal leadership race. I mean, I guess you were not surprised, but what do you make of all this?
Well, first of all, it's going to be very, very important. I mean, because everyone's using it, you don't want to wind up being the next Tim Campbell, i.e.,
exactly.
A prime minister who lasted for 27 seconds in office. Listen, we just heard Trudeau on the news saying, everything's on the table. I don't know if you read her op-ed in the Toronto Star today, which is a lot more lengthy than her tweet announcing her candidacy. However, I think when someone writes, if you hit us, we will hit back. We will not escalate, but we will never back down. Florida orange growers, Michigan dishwasher manufacturers, and Wisconsin dairy farmers, brace yourselves. Canada is America's largest export market, bigger than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. If pushed, our response will be the single largest trade blow the U.S. economy has ever endured. I wish I had heard that a couple of weeks ago, Joanne. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of language that Donald Trump understands. And quite frankly, I'm convinced this wimp, this loudmouth bully coward is going to wimp out on this. We had a little taste of that when you were talking about Melanie Joly, that there are people in the United States who have a lot of skin in the game, not like Donald Trump, and who really don't want to see their country's economic future based on the vagaries of a guy who looks like he's just this side of being a dementia patient. The other issue as well is, we're talking here about a guy who's trying to come across as a strong man. Mm-hmm. He likes dictators. He likes Putin. He likes Kim Jong-un. However, I'm very sorry. I mean, I know I'm from Quebec, but I'm not a Superman, but for crying out loud, yeah, there's going to be an Arctic vortex on Washington, D.C. Yep. The projected high is -4, Joanne. Mm-hmm. Is the national security issue that his toupee is going to frost over? Is that the problem? Is that why they're moving it inside? Because quite frankly, I think there are a lot of people who live in the northern U.S. who are going, what in the hell are you talking about? People from Minnesota, indeed New England now, who are looking at this temperature and going, oh, you're scampering inside? You're not as tough as you make out, aren't you? So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Donald Trump has never been anything more than an empty suit. He's never been anything more than a loudmouth, empty shell. And frankly, I think we're going to have very dramatic proof of that in the days to come. He has really dug a political grave with his mouth. I know it won't matter because it's a cult that voted for him and a cult that'll keep him in. But the fact is, there are still people out there, as I said, Joanne, they've got skin in the game. They're Americans. They don't need this nut bar turning the economy upside down because he decided at 3 a.m. sitting on his toilet with his phone, it's a good time to start putting together economic policy. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's so funny because in the end, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people are finally adopting the playbook that was used by Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, from the get-go, who said, you do this, we'll hit you back, you're going to suffer, we'll suffer, but you'll suffer too. Do you really want to do that? And guess what? He's kept his yap shut about her ever since that exchange. It's interesting because he does sort of expect they say you deal, bullies need a tougher hand. How do you think Chrystia Freeland would fare potentially against or working with and potentially against Donald Trump moving forward? He's already described her as that nasty woman. He made it clear he does not like her. And I think one of the biggest assets in her campaign for the leadership will be to take all of Donald Trump's tweets about her and put them in her CV. Because honestly, if Donald Trump is that frightened of you, is that scared of you, is that intimidated by you, you got to be doing something right. So don't kid yourself. I think the fact that she came out with very unequivocal and very strong language today suggests that this campaign is going to be very no nonsense. Yes, it's an abbreviated campaign. It's going to be very, very tight. But you know what? I think in the end, for Liberal Party members and for Canadians, that may all be for the best. It's time to really shed all of the bromides, the rhetorics, the cute little mottos. And that goes for Pierre Poilievre, who had a disastrous performance yesterday when asked whether or not he supported Danielle Smith, trying to exempt herself, or maybe make a separate peace with Trump, and he wouldn't answer. So believe me, that cost him. Maybe we won't see it in the polls right now. Believe me, the guy did not look good. No, it was a very strange move on his part. James Mennie, thank you so much for your colorful insights and commentary again from the Montreal Gazette. Have a great weekend. You too.